Skills here, Wilson. For those of you that don't know, I have a newborn son, and he's over there watching Pokemon right now. Very, very relaxed. But he might make a sound here and there, so if he does, that's what that is. But he's very, very chilling right now. Alright, so in my last video, everything about PlayStation 5, I did just a little bit of misinformation. So the PlayStation Plus collection that I mentioned will only be available on PS5, and it's free, technically. If you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, you automatically get PlayStation Plus collection, apparently. So there's no other, fee apart from the PlayStation Plus subscription, allegedly. So you get all these games at launch because most people are going to have the PlayStation Plus subscription anyway to play online with other people, and it's really not that expensive. But I'm going to go over everything again because this whole video is about games, and this is very integral to that part of the story. So, again, PlayStation Plus collection included in your PlayStation Plus subscription on your PS5 only. Okay, so if you have a PS4, you have a PS Plus subscription, you're not going to have this PS Plus collection, only on PS5. Alright? Alright, now, moving on. So, I'm going to go over a list of games. This is from different awards. It's on Wikipedia. So, different awards places, from Ars Technica to Eurogamer to Electronic Gaming Monthly and GameSpot and IGN and Game Informer. So, a bunch of different places, just so you can see the what they call the games of the year, which I have a very I have a story about that, but I'm going to do it in another video about how they come up with the Game of the Year awards. But basically, these are like top tier, the best games out of that year that came out. So I'm going to show you, because it's very important. Like I said, games sell consoles, in my opinion. And Microsoft's strategy, to me, at least this generation specifically, is more to be more on streaming than to be on their console. Even though they are selling their console, and they are, again, giving it to you at a very reasonable price if you qualify for the Xbox All Access. But they're more focused on that than they are on actually selling consoles, because their games, again, can be played across PC, Android phones, a bunch of different places, but we're going to go over that. But their games, the Xbox exclusive games, are not that many and haven't really won that many awards recently. So I'm going to go over the last 10 years for most of these places, just so that you can see games that, again, exclusive games. So you're going to see Xbox or Microsoft Windows or whatever on this list, but with PlayStation and with Nintendo. So basically third-party games that are games that you can play across all the platforms, which, again, if it's not exclusive to the Xbox, doesn't mean I need an Xbox to play it, because I can play it on my PlayStation. I don't need an Xbox to play it. And you're going to see that the PlayStation games, exclusive, only can be played on the PlayStation, have won Game of the Year awards in the past 10 years. Let's just say only. So, here we have, let's start with Electronic Gaming Monthly, alright? So one exclusive Nintendo one, not really a PlayStation one, this one from before, but still counts in my opinion. Okay, here we have from 2014 to 2019, Empire, not really sure the publisher, but Bloodborne, only on PlayStation 4. Uncharted 4, only on PlayStation 4. Super Mario Odyssey is only for the Nintendo, and God of War, only for PlayStation 4. And then again, Resident Evil 2 and Dark Souls 2 are on all the platforms, so no reason for me to only have an Xbox to play it, you know what I mean? Entertainment Weekly, let's see, from 2007, yeah, let's do it from 2007. So we have one BioShock for Xbox, okay, that's more than 10 years ago, but it's still there. The Wii Fit for the Wii, this is setting the bar pretty low. PlayStation 3 and Xbox Red Dead Redemption, here we go again. Journey is only on the PlayStation. I think you can download it now on different platforms, but originally it was only on the PlayStation. I don't really want to give it to PlayStation though, because that's a downloadable game, so it might be on different platforms now. So we're going to keep going. But then again, God of War for the PlayStation 4, and then we have The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo. So again, Nintendo and PlayStation's having these exclusives that sell consoles, whereas Microsoft or Xbox is just, they're part of the third-party games, So their exclusive games aren't really selling their consoles, is what I'm saying. Okay, Game Informer. We have, since 2010, we got the Red Dead Redemption again for basically everything. Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect for everything. Last of Us, which is again one of the greatest games ever in my opinion. PlayStation 3, exclusive only on PlayStation. Then we have Dragon Age, which was on everything. Witcher 3, which was on everything. Legend of Zelda again for the only for the Switch. God of War only for PlayStation, and then Control, which is for everything. So again, you're seeing. I hope you're seeing a pattern here. GameSpot, 2010. We have 2012's Journey, but again, I don't want to give it to that. Okay, Red Dead Redemption 2 is on everything. Okay, this is on everything. So GameSpot has more of a third-party list here. Not really any exclusives besides Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo. Games Radar, God of War, Last of Us in 2013 for the PlayStation. But again, as you see, Microsoft is here. They are here. It's just the Xbox is in tier with all the other ones. So all the third-party games that are not exclusive to Xbox are here, but they're only for because of they're on everything. You know what I mean? So the game is good. It's just that it's a game that anybody on any system can have it. Again, if I play on PlayStation plus play PlayStation exclusives, why would I own an Xbox? You understand? That's to me, that's what sells a console. All right. So this is basically the same everywhere. God of War, your Legend of Zeldas are really the most recent exclusives. I thought Spider-Man won some awards in here. But, like mostly PlayStation games and Nintendo games have been exclusive. Sell consoles, could only play them on their consoles, and that's really the reason that they exist. Now, I'm going to go over the top 10 best Xbox One games. This is, again, over the last 10 years, the best games that's come out on the Xbox One. And you're going to see a lot of repetition and a lot of, I would say, older generation of games. So, the Halo series started back from the original Xbox, and of course, has been trudging forward every console generation with new iterations. Halo Wars is like a strategy type game, but it's real time strategy. I wouldn't say turn based, but it's a fun game. But it's like playing chess with the Halo characters, so it's not really Halo, but it's up there. So again, Halo Master Chief Collection is again all of the Halos 1, 2, 3, and 4 from the beginning of the Halo series to basically, in my opinion, the end of the Halo series, Halo 4. And you get to play all of it in one master collection, which is great. But again, this is just a retread of a character or of a series that has already been in existence. They just remastered it for the Xbox One. But great game. Sea of Thieves, again, to me, in my opinion, not a good game. And it's from Rare, which made, GoldenEye 64, which I wasted a lot of hours on that back when the Nintendo 64 was alive in my house. Perfect Dark, which was, again, great. And Banjo-Kazooie, which is one of my favorite platformers back in the day. And yeah, so it's incredible to me that they made this game, and it's not fun. It's fun sometimes, but it's mostly just you being in the sea. It's kind of boring. Not a lot of people are playing it, so you're not really playing with anybody else. And it's not as great as it first was originally. The concept is good. It's just it never got there, in my opinion. And they really hitched their wagon to Sea of Thieves being an exclusive, but it never went anywhere or did anything, and there's probably not going to be a sequel. Then we have Forza Motorsport 7, which again is a great racing game, but it's just a Forza Motorsport racing game. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, again, I'm going to take this away from them because the same reason I took it away from Journey from PlayStation, I'm going to take it away from Microsoft because, yes, initially it wasn't exclusive for Microsoft, and I'll give them that, but it's no longer, so you can play it on other consoles, so there's not really a point to get an Xbox One or have an Xbox One only to pay Ori and the Will of the Wisp when you can play it on another console, like the Switch, for example. But originally, yes, it was there, so I'll give it that, and it is different than the other games on this list. Most of the other games are either racing games or shooting games. So pretty much it's very different than that, but it's still, I would say, not that varied of a list, as you'll see later on with other lists. Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Again, Gears of War, great game, but this is just a retread of a game that came out from an older console generation for Xbox when I believe they were really doing well and really on top of their game. But this is like just them retreading that thing. But again, very good that they remastered it, and I played it, and it's great. But it's just Gears of War again, which again is another shooting game, a little bit different than Halo. They have the run and cover mechanic and just a lot of different stuff, and obviously the characters and the story is different. But it's again a shooting game, third person, It's not that much different than the other games. Sunset Overdrive, I'll give it that. It's different, a little bit different. It's a little bit platformery, a little bit open world action adventure like game. I really like traversing the world in Sunset Overdrive. And when I first got my Xbox One, this was the first game I played on it, but I never finished it because I don't know. I feel like the story didn't really take me in, and it's kind of like a shooting game, but it's really just a fun like how you say it's a little bit like I would say Fortnite before Fortnite, if that makes sense. But it's fun. It's not a bad game. None of these are bad games. They're just very similar. Again, it's just a third person open world shooting game, just like the other games that I just mentioned. Halo 5 Guardians, again, another Halo series, great game, great story, but it's a shooting game, first person shooting game, yeah, first person shooting game. Gears 5, the latest iteration of the Gears franchise, very good third person shooting game. As you can see, a trend. And then of course Forza Horizon 4, which is it's a racing game, right? Akin to Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. So it's a good racing game. It's not that it's bad, but again, it's that kind of stuff. Then they have others like Cuphead. I don't know if that was an exclusive because I know I can play it now on different consoles. Quantum Break I played, really really good game actually, and from the creators of Alan Wake. If you like that game, you should check out Quantum Break. And again, it's very good. A little bit again, it is kind of a shooting game, open world, not really open world. It's a more linear, very linear. Um, Live action kind of stuff. Anyway, point is, it's a lot of the games on the Xbox are very just shooting or racing or very basic or generic, in my opinion, games. Crackdown 3, which was supposed to be really good, wasn't that great, and it's because basically they treaded the same waters as Crackdown 1 and 2. They didn't really give us anything different, and they didn't really go anywhere with the series. And it's fun sometimes, like a little bit, but after a while it gets like, just the same thing over and over again. All right, now we're going to the PlayStation, where you'll see a little bit more diversity, even than Nintendo, in my opinion. So, Bloodborne. It's a very difficult game to beat, and that's what actually is the draw of Bloodborne. It's akin to Demon Souls and Dark Souls, but a lot of people play those. I wouldn't say no. A lot of people do play those games. I want to again. It's for layman people that don't really play games that I'm trying to create these videos for. So let me say, Bloodborne is a very difficult game to defeat, levels and bosses, and people play it for that gratification of finally beating a level or a boss, if that makes sense. And it also has like a very gothic, dark aesthetic, very gritty, bloody, dark game. It's an action RPG, but yeah, it's like very set in a very dark world, and it's one of the best games, really, even on the list that we showed before. Ratchet and Clank. Again, very good, solid 3D platformer. Has been with the PlayStation since, I think, 2002, since its creation, I believe. And Ratchet & Clank is a very, very good game. Their new one's coming out for the PlayStation 5. Looks amazing. It's going to take, advantage of all the PlayStation 5's speed and power. So these platformers really are a good show of what the PlayStation can do, and minimally in like very linear storytelling devices. But again, very good 3D platformer. Very different than Bloodborne that we just saw. Uncharted 4. This is more of a story-driven game. Yes, it's a shooting game, but really, I don't think does do shooting that well. And it's really about the story in the Uncharted series games. And again, it's a story-driven game. It's like a big action movie that you can control, if that makes sense. So really fun time, but again, it is a third-person shooting game. So I would say generic like the other ones. Even worse so, because at least the other ones like Gears and Halo to me are better shooting games than this one. But really, you're not in it for the shooting in this one. You're really about the story, in my opinion. Days Gone, really fun zombie game. They took the zombie genre, didn't really flip it on its head, but it did kind of like what that mall game did. I forgot the name of that mall game. It's like all of the zombies were stuck in a mall. I forgot the name of that game, but I played hours on that game, and this kind of reminded me of that. So it's like a bunch of zombies. Like really, if the world actually decayed and millions of people became dead, this is what it would look like. There's hundreds of zombies coming at you in this game, a lot, and you have to figure out ways around them, or shoot stuff and blow a bunch of them up, or shoot them directly on and try to run away. Like there's a lot of different stuff that goes on in the game, but it's an open world zombie game, much like other open world zombie games, Walking Dead and such. But it's fun, and it's a little bit again different than the other games that I mentioned. Set in a, again more adult, mature world. So this and like Dark Souls is more of a mature game, whereas Ratchet and Clank, even Uncharted, I guess is also a mature game. But like Ratchet and Clank, and now we're gonna get to Final Fantasy. These games kids can play. So it's like I said, very varied in who can play these games. Whereas I feel like Xbox is more not that it's not varied in who can play games, because Ori and the Will of the Wisps is very. I mean, it's kind of dark, but it's a little bit child friendly. Whereas Nintendo is just child friendly all around. Every game on the list. Whereas PlayStation has a mix of both and a very mixing variety of each serving. So this is an RPG, traditional JRPG, very turnstile based. Has a little bit of action adventure in it, but it's mostly a turnstile based JRPG remake. So Final Fantasy VII, I don't even know if I have to explain what Final Fantasy VII is. Even to the layman, they should know what Final Fantasy VII is. It's literally the one of the best games ever, and has been remade to be even better in my opinion. And they changed a little bit of things that are different, but it looks and plays amazing. But again, JRPG, different than the other games that I just mentioned. Horizon Zero Dawn, whew, it's an open world game. It really turned a lot of the tropes that open world games have, where you have to climb towers to like reveal the map and go to different objectives and do different things. They really changed how those things happen, because they made it unique. Not that they changed it so much as they made it unique, like climbing the tower while the tower is moving and having to fight these monsters or these beasts and figure out how to do it. It really, really makes it fun. You can't traverse to a certain area yet because you don't have the right equipment to fight this beast, and you can figure out how to fight the beast and then go and create the equipment and then come back. Like it's really fun. It's akin to like a Monster Hunter game. With again, if you don't know, it's a very fun open world game, female led, which is different, I guess, than most of these other games. And even though there are very strong female characters in Final Fantasy. But yeah, very, very good, solid game. Different, very different, and beautiful, beautiful looking game than most of these other games. Shadow of the Colossus is one of my all-time favorite games of all time. Shadow of the Colossus to me is top tier. It came out back in the PlayStation 2 era, and since then, it's PlayStation 3 remastered. I bought it. PlayStation 4, I think it was remastered twice. Still bought it. Every time they come out with this game, I buy it. Shadow of the Colossus is amazing. If it's remade for PS5, I'm gonna get it again. I really wish there was a sequel, because it's okay. So the game is I guess it is an open world game. You go to this location, you climb these beasts, and it's a little bit actually sounding kind of similar to Horizon Zero Dawn. But the way you beat these beasts is also very similar to Horizon Zero Dawn. You have to find out how to beat them, but in the climb is where you really find their weak spots, and having to climb them is part of the labyrinth. It's like a little puzzle, each piece of the puzzle. And then the ending is very dark. But it's a great game. Again, not that much different from Horizon Zero Dawn. It has a male lead, but it's an old game that every time it's remastered, it's timeless. It never gets old, really. Never gets old. Last of Us Part 2, in my opinion, shouldn't be here. Last of Us Part 1 should definitely be here, or Last of Us Remastered. But yeah, Last of Us Part 2, this is another story-driven game. Not very. It is a shooting game. Like, they do have shooting in it, but again, this is not why people play this game. In my opinion, it's mostly for the story. Other games have done both the shooting and the stealth aspect of these games way better. But for the story is why we come back. And to me, The Last of Us 2 Part 2 story wasn't really that great. So I would recommend the first one. But again, still a very good game. Marvel Spider-Man, I don't even think I need to talk about it. Great game. Across the board, most people that I know are picking up the PS5 just for the new Spider-Man game. So it's really fun. It's an open world traversal game. You're Spider-Man. I don't know how else to explain it. You swing around, you beat up bad guys, and there's a story that's really, really good and not really cliche or stupid or doesn't take out of anything else. It doesn't take anything away from any comic or movie. It doesn't have to take shots at those things or take away from those things. It's its own standalone story, and it's really fun, really good. Voice acting is also really well. God of War, yes, number one. It should be. God of War is the epitome of what every game should be and should strive to be from now on. So God of War is, to me, everything Last of Us 2 isn't. They took their time to take this game, this franchise. So this is a franchise that already existed, God of War, just like, let's say, a Halo, but they remade it from the ground up. Completely different game. You played God of War, the first one, back in PlayStation 2, and this is completely different than that game 100 times. The graphics, the characters, the way you play the game, just oh my god, throwing that axe for the first time and feeling it come back, it's just oh, I can't wait to feel God of War 2 with the haptic feedback on the controllers and the PS5. Ooh, it's gonna be nice. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gushing, but it's such a good game. They really, really redid everything. The voice acting, the acting in general, the story is really compelling. It's very similar, I would say, to The Last of Us, the first one. And in The Last of Us, first one, it's a daughter and a father relationship, where this is more of a father-son relationship. But it's really, really compelling and really good stuff. And yeah, it's like a big long movie. Even when you pause to just pause the game, you drop it, you leave it, you come back tomorrow, pick it up, and it just picks up right with the same momentum, right where it left off. It's like you never stop. It's just great. It's so good. But yes, only on PlayStation. So again, this is why. Medieval's great. Tearaway, Last Guardian, really good. Persona 5, amazing. Death Stranding, I think you can play on different consoles. Last of Us Remastered should have been on this list. Infamous Second Son, Uncharted Lost Legacy, Until Dawn. These are all great games. Again, most of them exclusive to the PlayStation. But as you can see, very varying list of who can play or what. It's not all about mature. It's not all about teen. They have E for Everyone games, and they have M for mature games that are just as good, and different types of games, not just open worlds. They have shooting games. They have different, you know what I mean? Like just a variety. They have JRPGs, like a bunch of different types of games that come together and make the PlayStation, in my opinion, really, really sell, you know? Okay. Nintendo, I'm going to go over really quickly because we have some other stuff to cover, and I'm kind of trying to do this so that the video is not that long. So we have Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which, in my opinion, great game. It's also like a remake of an old game, but they really, again, from the ground up, remade it and made everything look claymation-like, very fun puzzle-type game. It is an RPG, but puzzles is really why you play the game. Donkey Kong Country is a, I would say, 2D platformer. Not a 2D, it's a 3D platformer, but it plays like a 2D platformer. It's really fun. All these games are for the Nintendo Switch, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned it, but really, really fun. Luigi's Mansion 3, great game. It really reminded me of Super Mario Sunshine, especially with the hose, but it's its own standalone, very, very good. I really like it. Different, like I said, than the other games that I mentioned, but all of these are family-friendly games. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, I didn't really play that much. It's a turn-based strategy game, and I'm not really into that, kind of like XCOM or stuff like that. It's like a big chess board again, but you're like moving your pawns bit by bit to try and get to the other side, and it's the pawns are Mario and Luigi and the Rabbids. But it's a fun game. It's not that it's not a fun game, but it's just, to me, it's not my cup of tea. Pokemon Sword and Shield is the epitome of what Pokemon could be. So they took everything that Pokemon was from the Game Boy, or sorry, I don't know if you guys know what Game Boys are. I'm pretty old. The DS, and put it in the 3D world with the Switch. Graphics so much better. The Pokemon fights are amazing. They look beautiful, fun. It's again a kid-friendly game. It is an RPG game, but it's fun, and it doesn't play like an RPG game in my opinion, but it's fun. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What can I not say about this game? This should be higher on the list. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to me is one of the best games on any Nintendo console. From the first Super Smash Bros. That I bought on Nintendo 64, I have bought Super Smash Bros. Melee, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Every game since I have bought a Nintendo just for the Super Smash Bros. Games. They're so good. Never fails. And Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the best version of this game to date. It has more characters than ever, with new ones coming every like 2 to 3 months. It's really fun. Pick up and play with anyone. And again, even though it's a fighting game, it's family friendly. There's no blood or gore or anything like that. Astral Chain, haven't really played it. I did hear good things about it. It's from the creators of Bayonetta. It's a little bit, I guess, a little bit more darker in tone than one of the other games, but it's also not technically a Nintendo franchise game. It is on the Nintendo Switch only, but it's not from Nintendo themselves. This is a third party that made this game, but exclusively for the Switch. But it's a fun game. It's different from the other games, I would say, but I'm not really sure where I would place it. But definitely not higher than Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Super Mario Odyssey, great game. Every Super Mario game from inception, from Super Mario 64, from all the way even before that, but Super Mario 64 to Sunshine to Galaxy to now Odyssey is just great. Nintendo has a way of taking platformers and reinventing them and making them fun again, not just another platformer. And not just another Mario game. It is another Mario game, but it's like every iteration has something fun and something new. I really like the hat mechanic, the hat mechanic, and how you can play with basically a second player. It's really fun, really innovative. Of course, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I'm surprised it's not number one, but as you can see, it's won a bunch of awards. It is an RPG game. Open world, a little bit action adventure, I would say, but it's very good. I'm glad. Let me just see who's number one. Oh, Mario Kart, of course. So I'm glad they made this game at launch, because I bought it at the same time that the Switch came out. And the reason that I got it and I loved it was because it has so much you can do. I think I spent 122 hours playing this game. It has so much you can do in this game, because they know that you're going to be able to play it everywhere you go. You're not going to just put it down as soon as you get home, because you could play it at home and then pick it up and take it with you and play on the way to work, on the way to school, on your way back from work, back from school, back from wherever. So really spent a lot of hours in this game, and well worth, because the game's fantastic. Mario Kart. Now, I'm going to say this does deserve to be number one, because anyone can pick up and play Mario Kart. It is the easiest racing game to play. Fun, family friendly. Anyone can play, from my, well, not my son. My son's too young, but my son will be able to play this game in a couple of years. For anybody from a 5-year-old to a 5,500-year-old can play this game. Okay, it's very fun. It's really great when you're second and you throw a blue shell and become first, or you're eighth for like all 3 laps, and then on the last lap you pass. It's really great. But yeah, and all of them, like I said, family friendly games. So Nintendo really has the market on that. But to me, there's no variety in like darker games that are exclusive to the Nintendo Switch that I know of. Anyway, moving on past all of this. PlayStation Now. So now you're probably wondering to yourself, I have a PlayStation 5. I have an Xbox Series X. It's November 13th, let's say. What am I playing on these things? What am I going to do? I bought this stuff and I don't have any more money to put in to buy these games that are like $60, $70. So, you can do PlayStation Now for the PlayStation. And PlayStation Now is, again, a subscription service where you can play a bunch of games for a price. So as little as $5 a month, and they have a free trial for 7 days. But I would recommend the 12-month $60 value, because it's the equivalent of $5 a month. But you pay it off fully and you don't have to worry about it. They have the $25 3 months, and of course the 1 month $10 payment. You can do whichever one you want, and you have access to, again, hundreds of games, not just PlayStation games, third-party games as well. And in my opinion, it's really good. So you can also play on the PC, which I don't know if I mentioned in the other PlayStation video, But yeah, PlayStation, you can now play on the PC. They have games from Days Gone, which I've mentioned before, Medieval, Friday the 13th, the Resident Evil game, Final Fantasy, Dead Cells, Hitman, Dishonored, Street Fighter, to indie titles like Hello Neighbor. Actually, Dead Cells is kind of an indie title. You know, like a bunch of games. Very, very good games. Blockbuster hit games. Doom, Mafia 3, PlayStation exclusive games like Bloodborne, Last of Us, Uncharted, and family-friendly games like Ratchet and Clank, Little Big Planet, and of course the Lego Batman and other Lego games. Now, again, 100 games you can play right off the bat as long as you have PlayStation Now, which again is a subscription service you pay. Right there, boom, you have all these games available to you right away. Just download them, play them, and do that. You can also play, again, PlayStation on the PC. Now, that is the same. You pay the same price, and again, all these games you can now play on the PC. All you need is a controller, a computer, you're on your way, okay? Install the PlayStation Now app, connect your controller, and you can play on your PC right away. It's only available on PC, so the specs requirements are Windows, Windows 7, Windows 7. So it's not on iOS, unfortunately, yet. But we're getting there, hopefully, very soon. But yeah, you can play the games on PC. Now, why am I saying, you can play these games on PC, but why aren't you saying the same thing you said about Xbox? Well, because you can only play certain games on the PS Now on PC. Not mostly every game or a lot of new games that are going to come out on the PC for PlayStation Now on the PC. So basically, the new Spider-Man, for example, is not going to be on PlayStation Now on PC. It's only going to be on the PlayStation 5. So you will still need to pick up a PlayStation 5 to play the new Spider-Man game, or on PlayStation 4 for the PlayStation 4 version of that game. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, games are going to come out for the console specifically that are not going to be on PlayStation Now and PC. And they might later be, but later, not right away. So, in my opinion, you still need a PlayStation to play PlayStation games, right? And again, you could stream up to 700 plus games, right? PlayStation Plus, as I said before, is a subscription service. You pay, same concept, again, $60, $25, or even $10, so that you can talk to people online and play with people online. You get 2 free games, and you get 100 gigabytes of cloud storage, share play, exclusive game content, and again, you can share the game with somebody else, and they can play it, and you don't even have to own it to play. That's really fun. Again, so that's the PlayStation Plus subscription service. Alrighty, PlayStation Now I already went over. PlayStation Plus Collection, again, only available on PS5. All of these games that are basically all the games that have been big on the PlayStation 4. Detroit Become Human, Days Gone, God of War, Infamous Second Son, The Last of Us Remastered, Persona 5, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted 4, Until Dawn. All of these games you're going to be able to play on the PS5s to basically catch up to everyone that's been playing the PlayStation games if you haven't been playing PlayStation, alright? Now, Xbox, again, has the Xbox Game Pass and the Xbox Game Cloud, which I'm not really going to go over because, again, I feel like it takes a lot of time, but it's basically the same model as PlayStation, but included in the Xbox Game Pass is Xbox Live, which Xbox Live, again, is how you communicate with other players and play online with other players. So you do get all that together. And, of course, you get access to the Xbox, with the Xbox Game Pass, the Xbox Game Cloud, which allows you to play games, stream them from your phone to your computer to basically most devices. So, now, you can stream your Xbox games on your Android for free. Well, not for free, but with your subscription. So, now they sell these things. You can hook up your phone to the controllers, as you can see, and just be playing these games. So it's really, really, it's really fun. You have access to basically your whole Xbox right here on your phone, on your Android phone. And with your controller, you can basically play all the games that you're going to see on the little screen in front of you, which is really fun. People have really been innovative, and they're basically trying to basically play these games anywhere there's an Android screen. So if you'll see here, somebody put it on a Samsung fridge because it's Samsung. So they're basically streaming their game Doom.
I saw the memes
on
and everything, and I got sick of it.
On the fridge, Samsung fridge.
Let's go ahead and do this thing. Right.
It's really fun. It's really fun. I don't want a Samsung fridge, but I kind of do now just to do this. But it's stupid. I'm not gonna sit in front of my fridge to do this. but it's fun. Like it's fun to see all these people do this. They got somebody put World of Warcraft playing it on. Again, I think they hooked up their phone with like an HDMI port to a Honda screen, and now they're playing World of Warcraft on their Honda, and they're just streaming it from their phone. It's really really innovative. There's going to be a lot of different ways that you could play. So I'm really, again, you don't need an Xbox to play Xbox games, but Xbox has made their console very very affordable. So what can I say? You know? All right, guys, that's it for this video. I apologize for the length, but again, we're going over games, and games are very important to selling consoles. All right, have a good one, and I hope this useless skill has been useful for you.